Welcome to Cigar Time, and here we are again Tuesday night at 7:30. And thank you for your previous viewership and your comments on our website. We appreciate everything. Here tonight is our usual cast of characters. We have Rob,
John,
Paul,
Mike.
Spread out.
Yeah. Stop doing that. You're messing me up.
yeah, don't mess her up. On tonight's show, we're going to smoke and review the San Lotano Oval. We're going to talk about food and cigars. We're going to have another installment with Paul in from the field. And we're going to talk about that ever so not known too well subject called plume. Miss Tia, why don't you tell us about the cigar?
Yes, our cigar we're smoking today is a San Lotano Oval. The wrapper is a Habano 2000 Nicaraguan. The binder is a Nicaraguan. The filler is a Habano Carrillo in Nicaragua. The sizes are Robusto, Toro, Torpedo, and a double Corona. And the taste profile is a dominated roasted coffee, some cocoa and dark chocolate, and it's medium body.
It's also box pressed.
Oh yes, no, it's a soft box press.
It's an oval. As opposed to a
an
hard
oval.
box
Yes,
press?
and real quick for the difference, a soft box press, it's wider, more of an oval shape, whereas a box press has very, look like a box, really sharp edges to it. So it's a difference.
Maybe that's why they call it the oval.
Yes.
you think?
Very good.
Did I figure that one out pretty
very
good?
good.
And now it's time to do the ritual cutting and lighting of the cigar.
Well, thank you very much, Max.
So we have your permission.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Max.
Gentlemen and ladies,
Gentlemen and ladies,
start your
start your
cigars.
cutters.
May I have a
Yes.
V-cut? Yeah, you already knew what I wanted for this one, right?
Yeah, you were looking at the end.
He anticipates your every need. What a gem. I'm going to light mine before I start talking.
First topic's food.
Thank you, Paul.
You are welcome, dear.
The only thing better than cigars is food. That's not true.
I wouldn't say
It's a
that.
matter of
I like
personal
cigars
taste.
better. No, I don't.
You don't look
That's,
like you like cigars.
that's how I lost a lot of weight,
Smoking cigars?
instead of eating.
You forgot you learned how to light a lighter.
Well, thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure. See ya. Oh,
Bye.
well, as we already let the cat out of the bag, we're going to talk about food and cigars. I like to sort of go around the table and get everybody's opinion on what their favorite food, and then what's their favorite cigar after the food, the type of cigar. And it doesn't have to be the brand, just the type of cigar. Rob, why don't you lead this off?
I'm a big steak eater, as you can tell.
No, you like spaghetti.
I love steak.
Well, you do like spaghetti.
I do like spaghetti. Macaroni, as it was called in my house.
With
And-
gravy
and
or
gravy.
sauce?
No,
Gravy.
gravy. No sauce.
Sauce.
Cheese sauce.
Macaroni and gravy. That's what I eat. After I have a nice big steak and potatoes, I like to smoke a fuller bodied cigar. But any different brand, it doesn't matter. Just a full bodied cigar.
John?
If it's edible, I'll eat it.
That's for sure. I can attest to that. I've seen it. Well, what do you
And
like to
there's-
smoke after a nice hearty meal?
Well, you gotta have a
It
favorite.
depends. Do I have a favorite?
Yeah.
I think sushi's his favorite.
No, I'll go prime rib. And I like a milder cigar after that kind of meal.
Really?
Paul?
Well, I'm going to go way out into left field here,
Huh?
because my absolute favorite thing to eat is goat.
Goat.
What?
Absolute favorite. All things being equal, I'd eat goat every day.
Goat.
And it's very easy to find in all of the countries that grow tobacco, so it's good.
Okay.
They run wild. Just catch them in the swamps.
Well, yeah. It's swamp goat.
In that hobo novo swamp.
Babahoyo.
Babahoyo.
Yeah.
Baba
What-
Booey, Baba
now,
Booey.
now, what type of cigar goes well with goat?
Generally, I would say full-bodied. I like a full-bodied cigar, usually some sort of torpedo while I'm eating, and then a slightly milder cigar afterwards.
Mike, I hate to do this to you. You got to follow that.
Well, I'm gonna backtrack here, and I'm gonna go back to my roots. I'm originally from Cincinnati, so I'm gonna have to say Cincinnati chili would have to be what have to come up.
What is
Yeah,
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati
Tell everybody
chili.
what
Yeah, I
Cincinnati
was
What's in
gonna say,
Cincinnati
not everybody's
chili?
going to be familiar with that.
Cincinnati chili is actually, from what I understand, I'm not the chef, It's more like a Greek chili. It's a Greek, and it's more like a meaty spaghetti sauce, and it's usually served over spaghetti, and they have them in 3 ways, 4 ways, and 5 ways. You know, it's a chili, spaghetti, and beans, then onions, and then lots of grated cheddar cheese on the top.
What could be bad about that?
Oh, I've never had a 5-way.
That is
very good.
You never had a 3-way.
But a 3 and a 4, yeah.
3 and a 4, yes. 5-way, no.
I can see you with a 4-way.
Twins?
A little circus
No
clown.
twins.
Oh, you don't know what you're
No.
missing.
You were there?
I was in Cincinnati. Why is Cincinnati so known for chili?
Well, I can't give you the history on it. All I can say is it has a large Greek population.
Yeah.
And so I think it came from that, and that's why I'm kind of putting some things together. That's why I think it's more of a Greek spaghetti sauce, but it is fabulous.
It's like a meaty sauce.
It's a very meaty
Yeah,
sauce.
Does it have cinnamon in it?
Yes, it does.
It has cinnamon. You
yes,
wouldn't
it
like
does.
it.
Would not
A
like
little advice for those of you who decide to experiment with the Cincinnati chili: do not do it before a meeting with a white shirt,
No.
because you get it all.
Yeah, it is
And
sloppy.
Do you
look
meet?
like
It is
Do you
sloppy.
meet with white shirts often?
I used to.
Now, they do sell a canned version of it.
Oh.
Cincinnati chili.
No, it's actually produced by Skyline Chili, which is the most
Big-
popular
big
brand in
company.
Cincinnati, and it's not bad. But I don't find the canned one is as meaty as you get when you get it in the store.
Now,
Go to a restaurant and get it; it's meatier.
now, what kind of cigar do you like with your big hearty chili?
Well, once you do that, you got to have something fuller body. Something like we're smoking the San Lotano now. Nice medium body to me is about as full as I go because it's got a lot of spice. It's got the cinnamon in it. It's got cocoa in it. It's very a lot of similar flavors that come from a cigar.
Yeah.
And so you got to have something that would compete with that. So you wouldn't want a mild cigar. You're going to have something that will overcome all those spices and you still be able to taste it.
Stand up to the chili.
Yeah. Scott?
Everybody took the good one, so I'm going to try and be a little different. I like a nice barbecue with it.
Nice.
I didn't know.
Oh,
Right
Nice
to the heart.
backyard barbecue. I like steak on the barbecue.
Okay.
Personally, I like to go to barbecue.
I can imagine.
What's that, Art?
No,
too late.
let's be objective.
And I like a full-bodied cigar after my barbecue.
Miss Tia?
Me, I like to smoke, eat first, shrimp, like steamed shrimp with a nice little salad. So something light, and then I'll pick up a smaller cigar, something more of a mild with flavor.
Cool. Well, as you could probably tell, I like everything. And I like all kinds of cigars, so I'm not really... I eat less meat than I used to, although I have a funny feeling I'll be eating more barbecue soon.
And why would that be, Ashman?
Because of barbecue.
And what is barbecue?
It's a
Oh
nice
my God,
little
you sound like a
barbecue
commercial.
restaurant
Nice
right up the
segue.
street.
Holy
Nice
cow,
segue.
that's
Right at the end of
That
the
was
center
subtle,
from the
wasn't
Horsham Cigar Store. Cigar Cigars,
Subtle as a
barbecue,
brick fall on your
barbecue.
head.
Well, let's be objective here. Let's get on with our show.
C&B.
John, you should go into used cigars if you ever leave here.
I want to thank everybody for their comments on food and cigars, and I think we should probably move to our next subject, which is our continuing installment of Paul out up to his knees in mud and yuck in the fields.
No, the last show we ended, I made a comment about, why should anybody believe you? And what I intended to do is give Paul a chance to, or any of us give us a chance with Paul's background, because he's a wealth of information, and I think it might be nice for people to know why they should listen to him.
I just read a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I think all that time he spent at Leavenworth, they had like a garden there.
We had a little,
And
yeah.
He learned how to cultivate the fields.
I'd love to hear some of his background.
And Bob Stroud helped him with
Yes, exactly.
pollination.
Pollination, right.
Jeez. Well, so I have to toot my own horn, I guess.
Toot toot.
I've been in the tobacco and cigar manufacturing side of the business for almost 18 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been smoking since I was 12 years old.
So that's about 50 years ago.
You meant 18.
You're gonna let smoke when you're
18.
You'll be 18.
My father gave me my first cigar when I was sitting in a fishing boat with him, and he said, "Here, light this; it'll keep the bugs away." It was a machine-made
fish.
drugstore cigar, and I fell in love instantly. And little did he know he was steering me down the path for the rest of my life. But
He knows now.
currently, I own a small plantation in Ecuador. We grow wrapper for other companies, and we grow wrapper, filler, and binder a little bit for ourselves. We have a small factory as well. But I've been producing cigars, blending cigars, and growing tobacco for about 18 years.
Excellent. And
So what's
and you've
today's
made some
topic,
good
Paul?
cigars too.
Oh, and I'm supposed to be talking more.
Yes, yes.
Where did we leave off?
Well, okay. We left off with the fermentation and stripping completed. The leaf was all sorted by color and by where on the plant it came from. And now it's time to make the cigar taste the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And there's really only one way to do that, and that's called blending. And blending is, in one sense, a very simple process. When I do it, I sit down with one roller in the factory and every kind of tobacco we can put our hands on, all laid out on a table, and we just select different leaves and say, let's combine this and this, put it in a binder like that and a wrapper like that, roll it up, taste it, take some notes, put a few away to see how they age, and start all over again. And just do that over and over and over.
I would love
That
to go
sounds
to a
like
factory
an
and do
awesome
that.
job.
Do you mix it the same way, or are you trying different things?
Different things all the time. So after they finish one, usually they'll roll 3. 1 for me to try immediately, 2 to put away and let develop. Then I'll take the same blend out of my notes and say, okay, let's take this leaf out and put that leaf in and see how it changes it. And you just keep doing that. I usually do it for 2 weeks at a time.
Now, I've heard of something called a blend book. Is that what you're doing when you're doing that? Is you writing down all this stuff and making your blend book at that point in time?
We call it the Bible, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
It is the book that has the master list of all of the combinations I've ever tried, what worked about them, what didn't work about them, and every detail about each leaf that's in the blend.
How big is that?
Do you have this book?
That book is enormous.
I actually, first I had heard of it was with Tarano, and when they launched the Vault,
The
I
Vault,
didn't realize
right.
that everybody did that.
Well, you
Well,
have
a lot
to.
of them.
You have to.
Yeah.
When you think about it, yes, you probably should. Yeah.
But
Records.
the blend book is crucially important. So the idea is usually a blender starts with a target. They have a particular flavor profile and they want to create a cigar that suits that flavor profile. So they'll have initial ideas about which kinds of tobacco might work, and then they have to experiment with it. And you have to understand that the number of variables that you're dealing with when you're blending tobacco is phenomenal. You may remember earlier in our discussions we talked about how many different kinds of tobacco there are. In total there are actually 64 different breeds of tobacco, and they all taste different. And every one of them will taste different depending on where you grow it. So just as an example, the wrapper on this great San Lotano is a Habano 2000 grown in Nicaragua. Habano 2000 grown in Ecuador is a totally different leaf, even though it comes from the same seeds. And in Cuba it's different than that, and so on and so on. So you take your 64 breeds of tobacco, and you have 8 major countries doing most of the tobacco growing, and you've now got a lot of variables. And then you take Velado and Seco and Viso and Ligero from each of those, and you have even more variables. But fermentation adds the magic variable, because you can change that. You remember you asked about the temperature? You can change the temperature by just a couple of degrees, and it will dramatically change the flavor of the tobacco as a result. So you've got a limitless palette to paint with when you're creating a cigar blend. The biggest challenge in blending, however, is recognizing that you have a product that comes from the ground. It's a natural product, it's alive, it's organic, and it changes. It changes from year to year, it changes from crop to crop, and what you have to do when you develop a blend is develop, in effect, a backup blend for each of the leaves in that blend, so that if the crop is not right, or if the flavor varies a little bit one year to the next, you can compensate in the blend so that the resultant cigar doesn't change. And that really just takes a tremendous amount of experience. and remembering what all the different kinds of leaves taste like, so you can decide what you want to use to reach the net effect that you want.
That has always amazed me, given what you just said, that there all the different variations in Mother Nature, how a company like Padron or Fuente can keep a single cigar tasting the same year after year after year. It just
how do they
Is that
arrive
due
at the
to the blending?
consistency?
Is that due to the?
There are a couple of elements to that. One is Fuente, but to a much greater extent Padron, are vertically integrated. So that means it is the same company controlling the fields, the fermentation, the drying, the blending, and the ultimate rolling of the cigar. So they're able to be very consistent because they have their hands on the whole thing, start to finish. The other way that they get to be consistent is this alternative blending concept. So in a year where one element of their blend changes even a little bit, they already know what else they can do that will result in a cigar that's indistinguishable from the first one.
Yeah, it's always amazed me.
It's
To
a
be
fascinating
consistent,
subject.
It really is.
And the people that are good at it are legendary in this
Yeah.
business. They're the names that we all know. There are people like Pepin Garcia. There are people like Benji Menendez,
Jose Sejas,
AJ Fernandez
Cifuentes, Ramon Cifuentes.
when he was alive,
Yeah, when he was alive.
and Aliad Armando Ramos, even though
Armando
nobody
Ramos.
ever heard of him.
I've heard of them.
We've all heard of them.
Anyway, that's how cigars get to taste the way they do, and that's why blending is so important, and it's something that you should think about when you smoke a cigar. Not only were there a lot of people involved in making it, but there was an artist sitting somewhere really creating something out of his own passion and understanding of the leaf.
Yeah, what we call a blend is what other people would call a recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably the closest
Like a
analogy.
chef,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
master
Right.
chef.
And that's exactly why,
You
you
have
know,
to keep the notes.
if we have 4,500 different cigars in there, that every single one of them has a different flavor.
A
Yeah.
lot more than 4,500.
Well, I just picked the number, but
Or
yeah.
more like 450,000.
There you go.
And when you think about all of the different flavors that you get out of a cigar, whether you call them things like coffee and cocoa, or whether you just taste different things and you don't know what to call them, if you think about all of those different flavors, when a good cigar maker created that cigar, not one of those flavors is an accident. That means he actually sat and said, I want a note like this, and a
Right.
little undertone in the back of the tongue like that, and I'm going to get it from this leaf and that leaf combined.
It's amazing.
It's
is.
a fascinating
It's a science.
It's a science and an art. It's
Yeah.
both.
Very
Clearly
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
Clearly,
It's a start.
clearly is. Paul, I want to thank you again.
Thanks,
My
Paul.
pleasure as always.
I mean, I could listen to you go on for hours and hours, but
And we
unfortunately,
have.
And I could talk for hours.
Believe me, I know it. And we have, but unfortunately, not in a half-hour TV program.
No.
Let me just kind of introduce something that we've not covered before on our shows. This show is shot live in our Horsham store. So if you're hearing background noises, people talking, phones ringing, because the store's open. We try to shoot it at a slow time of day towards closing, but you know, you're going to hear a little background, you're going to hear the phone occasionally, customers talking, doors opening.
Joe screaming.
What's that?
Joe
Joe
screaming on the
screaming,
phone.
yeah.
Yeah, people are, give me more cigars, I want that one, I want that one. Whoa.
Joe pulling out his hair.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, we're talking about you.
Mr. Clean, I don't think he's got much left. Well,
Join the club.
the next subject I'd like to cover is something that's near and dear to my heart, but I'm going to let, I know Scott also likes to talk about this. It's the subject of plume. A lot of you will not know what plume is. You're about to find out.
A lot of you mistake it for mold. Plume is for lack of a better term, it's a crystal that ends up on the outside of a cigar, and it is a signal or a sign that that cigar is actually perfect. It's ready to be smoked. What happens is there are lots of oils in the tobacco, and when those oils start to seep or leach to the surface or the wrapper, those oils start to crystallize. And that is, again, it's a sign that the cigar is perfectly aged, and there's never a better time to smoke a cigar. And I'm sure I gave a very quick analysis, but I'm sure there's a lot more to it. But
No, I mean.
We should talk about distinguishing between
Yeah.
plume and mold.
That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Oh, yeah. Plume comes
With
off,
plume,
mold
you can
doesn't.
just wipe off. It'll
Yeah.
come off very easily.
Right.
If it's mold, it's not going to come.
I know you've all heard me talk about this, but I'll bore you again one more time. When I was a kid, back in the Stone Age, I used to haunt the downtown Philadelphia tobacconists back in the day. There were many, many of them down there. And it was right around the time of the Cuban cigar embargo, but yet you could still sell Cuban cigars, what remaining inventories were in this country. And I used to go around and look for cigars that had plume on them. And I'd try to find like somebody very young behind the counter, because I was all of about 15 and 16. And, yeah, that was back, there were no laws about age. And I would look for a pluming cigar, and I'd take it up to the clerk, and you know, back in the day, Cuban cigars were 50 and 60 cents a piece. Yeah, now you know how old it was. And I would try to say, hey, the cigar has mold on it. Can I have it for a quarter? And about half the time, I'd get away with it. So I got a whole load of good-tasting cigars for, you know, nickels and dimes, basically, compared to what you normally would have paid. I just wish I'd have put some of them away.
It's funny. There are certain cigars.
They wouldn't have tasted good now.
Nah, they would have been too old.
There are certain, there are certain cigars that I know get the plume, and I'll show customers, like the Romeo 2. I will show them. I'll pull it out.
Why does it cigars that are in a tube age faster?
Well, they don't age faster, but they plume
faster.
They plume faster because the air isn't exchanging at all. So it's not like keeping it in a regular humidor. It's going to stay humid, but it's sealed up in that tube. So the oils have nowhere to go. They can't evaporate away, so they crystallize on the surface of the cigar.
That's why it's always better, if you can, to age your cigars in a sealed box, because you'll bring that plume to the surface faster in a sealed, airtight box than you will just throwing them into the humidor.
I noticed the VSGs get a lot of plume too.
Yeah.
It relates
to
the oiliness of the wrapper is a real factor, and I'm talking about the natural oiliness, not enhanced.
Yeah.
There's certain types of wrappers are just not going to plume as much as others.
Connecticut rarely does.
Yeah, rarely ever.
Yeah.
So if you see a plume, pick it up.
And just the fastest and easiest way to tell whether it's plume or mold is, like everyone has said, try to wipe it, but also mold tends to be furry and plume tends to be sparkly because it is a crystal.
Yeah. Okay, I think that was a great explanation. And now it's time to review our San Lotano Oval. Miss Tia, why don't you start it out?
I was actually impressed. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I actually do. I'm a big fan of the band. I think that's very cute.
He always likes the band.
I love the band, and he has his name on it. I think that's,
That's cute.
That's very cute.
Yeah, and it's in yellow too.
Yeah.
So yellow's a good color.
It's adorable.
My favorite type would be a box press, but since this is a soft box press, I think I actually like this a little bit better now. So no rating yet.
No rating yet.
No.
So it's a good one.
I like the mouthfall on this. It's different. It's a
like
very
the
unusual. Yeah, it's a nice medium to full bodied cigar. Fantastic flavors. The customers in my store and myself are very big fans of AJ. Anything AJ Fernandez makes, they love. And
he's very hot right now.
Yeah, sure is.
We noticed that.
He is. Mike?
I love this cigar.
Really?
And it's way stronger for your palate.
It is.
I almost fell out the chair.
But you know what? It may be powerful, but it's smooth in its power.
Yeah.
It is very smooth in its power. It's a very good blend, so that works really well for me. And probably one of the most full-bodied cigars I really enjoy. It's a really good cigar.
Paul?
Well, I agree with everything Mike said, and what I really like about it, the word I would use is balance. The cigar is perfectly balanced, so it has the spice and it has the strength, but it lets all the other flavors come through, and I think other than maybe a Padron, this is a quintessential Nicaraguan Puro.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about the band?
I already said it. I think it's adorable.
John?
I find that the coffee, cocoa, and dark chocolate flavors really come through for me, and that's what I really like about this cigar.
Well, I know where this discussion's going. Rob?
Are you done?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Did I step in your line?
No.
I would never,
love hearing Max
age
talk.
before beauty.
I agree with John. The chocolate flavor comes through. It's very, very smooth. I also agree with Scott. I like the way it feels when you hold it.
Yeah.
It won't roll off the table.
That's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Especially with a slanted table.
Yeah.
That's a real plus.
Exactly. It's a plus.
Right.
If you think about it, if you've been drinking a lot, a cigar that doesn't roll off the table is
It's
important.
actually pretty good, yeah. So
Not quite sure why,
yeah,
but
this is a fantastic cigar.
I guess that leaves me, huh?
It does.
It does.
I can't really add anything. I mean, you pretty well all summed it up very nicely. I mean, I agree with everything that was said, and I kind of know where all this is headed. So, in reverse order, we'll start.
With you.
It'll start with me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with me. I give it a 4.75.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you
Wow.
why. I'll tell you why. I don't find the cigar to be on the higher end of medium. I find it to be right in the medium for
Right.
me. For me.
Right. Yeah.
And I think someone, forgive me if I don't give you a shout out, whoever said it was well balanced, hit it right on the money. This is a very, very well balanced cigar. And you know, quintessential Nicaraguan, I think Paul put it, right, I agree 100%.
I give it a 4.25.
I'll go the same with Rob.
I'm right in the middle, 4.5.
Okay.
Agree with Paul, 4.5.
Yeah, fantastic cigar. 4.5.
4.25.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
I
a
think
very
Cigar
good
did really well.
So everyone liked
It
it.
did, because I
Yeah.
thought I was expecting it to be stronger,
Yeah.
harsh, and it was very
Yeah, it's
smooth.
very smooth.
It's very smooth. It's smooth just like the way it feels. It feels smooth.
Rob, what do these cigars retail for? They're in the
Oh,
ballpark
you're
of.
lying. What's that box say?
750, 8.9.
Yeah, it's like
All right, so it's not a super high
No.
premium,
No.
right?
It's
It's
like
for the quality of the cigar?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like $8, $8.70.
It's fantastic.
It's not
I mean-
the cheapest cigar in the world, but on the
No.
price-value ratio,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's
great.
very
It's
good.
ding, ding, ding. I mean, it gets 5 bells from me. I mean, it hits all the whistles.
They also
Great
make a
cigar.
Maduro and a Habano.
It also, right, it
Fantastic,
comes in
too.
Habano and
Well, not the
and a
oval.
Maduro.
Maduro.
The oval
Maduro.
comes only this way in
Well,
Maduro.
I'm talking
yes,
San Lotano.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, AJ Fernandez knows what he's doing.
He does.
Well, I want to
There's
thank
that blending art.
I want to
Yeah.
thank the panel for their comments on the San Lotano.
You're welcome.
I think we all sort of agree that it's a high quality, reasonably priced, great cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Come into Cigar Cigars and buy one.
you're stealing my lines now.
Oh.
This is the part of the show where as Paul said, please patronize us. We need the business.
How many stores do we have?
Oh, we have 7 stores. Where are they?
Reading.
Colmar.
Phoenixville.
Horsham,
Freehold.
Oxford
New Jersey.
Valley.
Did we mention
Westchester.
Westchester.
Westchester, New
I
Jersey.
said Westchester.
Westchester, New Jersey.
Our new store in Westchester, Delaware.
Pennsylvania.
It's Westchester, Pennsylvania. And you can see everything and a lot more. And please leave your comments, even criticism, suggestions at our website, which is cccigars.com. That's
CCigars.com. By the way, if you go to the website, the first thing you'll see there is a little button that says get 15% off just for hitting this button. And when you hit it, it's a chance to give us your email address, get on our mailing list for events and specials, and get a coupon for 15% off next time you come in.
Also a free cigar.
And a
Yeah.
free cigar, fresh hand rolled.
And that email is only used by us. We don't give it to anybody else.
And send the photos in for the hottie page, ladies.
Oh, the
Oh,
hottie.
yeah.
Yeah, how do you
Put your
I
face
screen
on
them
there.
personally. Okay, I think it's time to say goodbye.
It is.
No.
Say goodbye.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Goodbye, guys.
Smoke happy and smoke often.
And remember, it's been another beautiful day in paradise.
Ciao, everybody.
And thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you next week.